Once upon a time, in a small town, which shall be nameless, there was a boy, a girl, and some assorted parents. Now, in this town, there was a mayor. One day, the mayor decided he'd like a quiet cup of coffee. I'd like a quiet cup of coffee.
That's trash.
Hello and welcome to That's Cool, That's Trash, the podcast where we watch a psychotronic movie online, then get together on Skype to break down the crazy. I'm Matt Howell, and I'm joined today by two good friends, Jacob Balcom.
Hey.
And Devin Bruce.
Hey.
Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thanks for having me.
This is a show that's not really staying dead because we have special occasions like Wings Hauser month and Wings Hauser's birthday, and now this. And what this is during the pandemic revival that we did, Devin joined me with, I think we're with Rob Haferman. Was that who it was?
Yeah, it was with Rob. Yeah.
Yeah. And we did the Vincent Price blogathon. And I chose a Vincent Price movie I'd never seen, which was Scream and Scream Again, which is from Amicus. And early 70s sci-fi horror movie. And we had a good time talking about that, but I think I was doing a little bit of a preamble in the beginning and mentioning Amicus, and I said that while they're mostly known for their portmanteau anthology horror films, they started off with a movie called It's Trad Dad, and Devin and I had a chuckle and moved on. And then I saw that the same folks that ran the Vincent Price blogathon were announcing the Hammer/Amicus blogathon. And I said, hey, what better thing for That's Cool, That's Trash, a big horror fan like me, than to jump on the Hammer Amicus blogathon. And then I jumped in there to claim a movie. I was like, 10th or 15th in, and for some reason typed It's Trad Dad. I thought that would be funny because we laughed about it. And then I thought, well, my good friend Jacob is one of the most musically knowledgeable people in the world. And Devin, you're a singer and you know a lot about music. So we can get on here. If nothing else, we can just rap about music and talk about the movie loosely. So, and what we thought of it. So that's what we're doing. We're talking about It's Trad Dad from 1962, Amicus's first film, produced by Milton Subotsky and Max J. Rosenberg. And they founded Amicus around this time. This was their first project. They had worked together on the film City of the Dead. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. That's the UK title. It was distributed in the West as Hotel Hell, but it's one of my favorite movies.
Fulci ones?
No, this is like 1960, and it has Christopher Lee in it, and it's a horror movie about a girl that's studying witchcraft, and she gets sent to this really small hamlet that has a very period library where you can see all these original texts and original sources and stuff like that, and it gets dark pretty fast and goes kind of down like a psycho kind of road. Yeah, highly recommend that film, by the way. But they collaborated on that, Subotsky and Rosenberg, and then decided we work really well together. We made a lot of money on this thing. Let's start a thing. And so they started Amicus. And their first venture, for some reason, after having a small hit horror movie, was to jump into the youth music scene. This was released later, I believe, as Ring-a-Ding Rhythm, which really evokes Sinatra and that era of pop singing to me. So I'm not sure why. There's a song in here called Ring-a-Ding at the end. That's like the big climax. I can see why they were trying to name it something like that, but it doesn't really fit. So what are your guys' relationships with these types of movies? Like I've dipped my toe in this genre of these late 50s, like rock, and it's just maybe a wraparound story about we have to save the orphanage. Let's get, name whoever's popular at the minute,
Yeah.
And it's essentially a bunch of performances by these artists. And I imagine if you were someone in, bumfuck Kansas who barely even got the records or the magazines in 1959, we're probably stoked to go to the theater and see these artists perform multi-camera performances blaring out of big, huge speakers is probably really exhilarating. But
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I mean, but my experience, I mean, I've seen much of them, but they're so interchangeable with each other. I was trying to remember specific ones, but like you said, it's just the same. It's just a basic kind of story that just frames a bunch of really cool performances. We're just like, oh, there's Bill Haley, there's Chuck Berry, and yeah. So I mean, I've seen a lot of those, but they haven't, they obviously didn't make enough of an impression for me to really remember them all that well. But I guess I'm more familiar with Dick Lester's other films rather than the traditional rock and roll film.
Yeah, we'll definitely move on to there. I just kind of want to talk about this genre that they were. I mean, this is exploitation. It doesn't have the salacious elements that people associate with exploitation, like a nudist colony thing or whatever. But I mean, this is essentially just saying, let's exploit teenagers because they really like rock and roll music, or they really like. We'll get to the genre specificity of this film, yes, which undid my head, and I just spent most of the movie trying to spool it back up like kite string. But Devin, what is your experience with this kind of exploitation genre of teen exploitation of music idols?
Like when I think of those things, I think of things like the only thing I can think of is Frankie Avalon and Annette, right? That is what I think of when I think of teen rock and roll movie. I think Beach Blanket Bingo, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm sure I've seen one of those, or I've seen bits and pieces of a bunch of them. I've never sat all the way through one of those. And I guess my only other teen exploitation, rock and roll exploitation film is Rock and Roll High School.
Yeah.
Like those are the two. So I never watched any of the, like what you were saying, what sounds really cool. Like, oh, you can like watch these old movies and have like Bill Haley in the Comets or whatever. Like maybe I'll have to track some of those down. But yeah, I think the closest thing I've come to this is Rock and Roll High School, and there's way less music in that,
and way more self-awareness and
yes.
Tongue in cheek and whatever. That's funny. Yeah, casting these young stars was not it wasn't a stunt thing. I mean, Jailhouse Rock, which I think is a really fun B movie. It's pretty entertaining, but these ones where the plot's so thin where it is just essentially a concert film, but it's all canned. I mean, it's like when you see anybody from the 60s on any television show, they're just lip syncing and, pantomiming the performance. Yeah, Devin, I've been into late 50s and 60s music has been my favorite era of music since I was pretty much a teenager. I mean, pretty much like 13, whatever. Like I've just gotten more and more into it as I've gotten older. But when I started getting into psychotronic and really digging in and moving into cities where there were psychotronic video stores and you could find this stuff, I would see these things like you're saying, like be flipping through this book of selections from the videotapes of all the weird stuff there's no shelf room for. And I was like, oh my God, Bill Haley in the Comets and so-and-so's in this and Fabian, and this is amazing. How do I not know about this? And you really want to go home and get a pizza and put it in and like, oh, because it's just Fabian and Bill Haley in the Comets and people lip syncing. Like it's really, they're really disposable and plastic.
How many times in those movies did the main characters start to say something and another character say, no time. Now it's time for this band.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I don't have a super favorable opinion of this genre in general. I think there's nothing wrong with them. If I meet someone who's into them, I'm like, cool, good for you. But I just, I'll watch one if it's on, but I would never seek them out anymore. I watched like 2 or 3 and I was like, I get it. Completely get it. If there's one artist I particularly love, I'm a huge, I'm not in the closet. I'm out. I'm a huge Herman's Hermits fan. So like they've made some kind of goofy movies that are essentially like sitcom, feature-length sitcoms. I'll watch those. I don't, but yeah, I wouldn't just seek this out for what this is as a genre, as a format or an approach to a film. So it seems like it's film filling a need. That's in italics. Narrative is not really there. If it is, it's embarrassingly threadbare, like in porno. I mean, it's essentially like a porno, but it's music instead of sex. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, we got to save the orphanage. Okay. Oh, I don't have any cash for my pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, well, how are we going to save the orphanage? I've got an idea,
Yeah.
And then Bill Haley starts playing the piano. Somehow that's generating money.
I'd watch that movie.
My point being, porno and these movies are essentially the same. But yeah.
I mean, nobody talks about the plot of a porn movie. No one is going to be talking about the plot of It's Trad Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we will because we're going to have to, but like that's not the point.
So I guess I think we talked about what this is. We're going to talk about who made it in a second. But what was your just initial reactions to watching this? And Devin, you start. But when you tell me what your reaction was, also tell me, what was your tap out time? When was the time where you paused it and said, okay, this is how much I have left?
It was kind of the opposite for me. I think it was about a half hour in when I went, oh, this is all this is going to be. It's just going to be this. There won't be a story. And I kind of just like sunk into it like a bath. Okay. And I enjoyed it. Like spoiler alert, I kind of had fun with this movie, and I may just get a Helen Shapiro album because I think her voice is amazing.
I was tripping out on her voice.
Her voice it's weird.
The same way. Sorry, the same way like Wayne Dunkashane.
Wayne Newton. Like the same way, like you hear Wayne Newton and then you're like, that's a guy?
Yeah.
Like the exact opposite of this. Like I heard Helen Shapiro and Renee was walking through the house. She's like, wait, she's the singer? She's like, I thought that was a guy with like a mid-range voice.
Yeah.
Oh, they want to grab that telephone, call you up and make a date at home, alone with you. So turn the lights down low, let's watch a TV show. Cuddle up.
She was something else. But again, I didn't tap out. I legitimately, once I realized it was a musical showcase with a few Monty Python-esque jokes in between and like filmed bits, I was like, all right. Yeah. Listen, I watched the sitting, standing, running, jumping, lying down film or whatever that Richard Lester did, and that was garbage. So this is better than that.
Yeah, but wasn't that like 9 minutes?
That was pretty short.
It was short. It felt very long.
I haven't seen that since I bought the Hard Day's Night VHS cassette whenever that like 95 or 6.
Yep.
And I watched it once. And I like Peter Sellers.
I love Peter Sellers.
And Richard Lester.
Yeah. And that was not.
No.
I don't know. But my initial reaction was, oh, cool. Because it's 60s pop rock mixed with Dixieland jazz revival. And honestly, it was like, oh, I should tell my dad about this. Like, my dad would really like this, I think.
I'm very anxious to dive into the subject of this and all, but I need to hear Jacob's reaction and tap out time if there was one.
Yeah, well, I'll try not to go on because I also have a lot to say about the subject matter. But I really got into it. I didn't have a tap out time either. I was a little high and got kind of highbrow on this thing. I was just like, oh, Richard Lester, this is a commentary on these rock and roll movies. And this is this hilarious, pithy film that's all about this, which it is, but then it also is just a musical showcase film too. And so I don't think I tapped out. I think I watched it all the way through. I would look up people from different times and just figure out who they were. But I loved it. I'm gonna make my wife watch it.
Cool.
I'm very curious about her opinion. I don't know. We need to move on to the to the meat of this.
I'll just say, I wouldn't say I tapped out, but I did check how much was coming when I felt like I bet this is almost over. Not that I wasn't enjoying it, but I was like, this, we're done here, right? And I was literally halfway through it. I was like, fuck.
I know what point you're talking about. It's when Acker Bilk has like 3 songs in a row, and you're just like, oh, fucking Acker Bilk, man, no more.
Mr. Acker Bilk.
Mr. Acker Bilk, yes.
And his parliamentary band? Is that what it is?
His Paramount. His Paramount Jazz Band.
That was my kind of tap out time, more or less. I was enjoying it as well, but I was enjoying Richard Lester's work and the things he was doing as a visual creator and an editor. The things where I kind of started losing interest was the content, which is the trad dad. I like how much Dixieland jazz can one man take in one sitting. It's like,
it's painful.
Like there was this music festival out where I live now called Pickathon, and it started like 25 years ago. When it started, Pickathon, it was a bluegrass festival. 3 days of, you come here, you pay this flat thing, you camp on our farm, and you listen to bluegrass from 10 a.m. to 2 in the morning. And it evolved, now it's hip hop, experimental, blah, blah, and now it's every type of music under the sun. It's a really big festival, indie wise. But, to me, the idea of like listening to bluegrass for more than an hour is really like the fact that there's people out there that are like, I'm getting a plane ticket, I'm flying to Oregon, and I'm going to listen to 3 days of bluegrass. Like that's one notch above or, below like Ed Gein. Like you're just about to like wear people's skin as suits and dance under the moon. Like what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
3 days of bluegrass. I like bluegrass. Bill Monroe, all that. I like it. I appreciate it for what it is, but I'm not going to listen to anything for 3 days. Come on. Anyway, that was my reaction was, we're pivoting into it, so it's natural. But the pop stuff, Gary U.S. Bonds. I'm not a big Chubby Checker guy, but the Paris Sisters. I mean, the stuff that was pop, I fucking loved. I love that era of music. My wife hates late 50s, early 60s pop. I fucking love it.
I love it.
Officially, I'm a post Dylan pop 60s guy, but I love it all, man. And so I was in heaven with a lot of these performances, but the ones I wasn't were getting on my nerves the second half. And that was the spirit and bulk of this movie.
Yes.
So yeah, Jacob, if the listener's not aware of Richard Dick Lester, tell them a little bit about who he is.
Well, I mean, they've definitely seen one of his films. He directed A Hard Day's Night.
It's been a hard day's night. If you haven't seen that, you're missing something big. You need to get out and fix that stat.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously that's my favorite of his. I also like How I Won the War. I think is the other one that I also really like that he made with John Lennon as the lead. His anti-war farce, I think you might call it. Mm-hmm. And what's the plot of that? Is they're making a cricket field?
I haven't seen it since I was in high school.
Yeah, I think it's World War I, if I'm correct. And they're trying to make a cricket field on some foreign shore. But it's wacky and pretty good. But he was, he started out kind of as a half kind of commercial TV director and half experimental director, right? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, and it shows.
Oh, it absolutely shows. I mean, he has the eye to do all these musical performances, like you say, just really well, multi-camera. The editing is great, but the experimental parts of this film, and they are there. There are definitely some there that are incredible.
He takes the strengths of experimental and marketing, and you know what I mean, and combines them into a new thing. And I think that he helped create a lot of the language that we saw in promotional films of the 60s up through the launch of MTV. There's a lot of that dialogue, or a lot of that language, that visual language is established here.
So Matt, you are, I mean, I know you like Hard Day's Night probably best, but you also love Help.
I like Help best.
Yeah, you do like Help best. That's right. We've had this discussion. You are heretical on this, because I like Help, but I don't watch it every year. I watch Hard Day's
Help
Night
like 3 or 4 times a year, and I watch Hard Day's Night probably twice a year.
3 or 4 times.
I love Help. I
definitely
fucking love Help passionately.
We've talked about this a lot, Matt and I, and I don't get it either.
I'll try and get up to speed, but that was a hard left turn. I think Help is fun. I think Help's fun. Like, I love the lager and lime, 2 lagers and lime and 2 lagers and lime. Like, I like a lot of the gags.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, Ringo in a giant ring. Like, I don't know.
Matt loves magic rings. He loves the concept.
And I love like serial, like serial film, like whatever type of, same way Raiders is a love letter to all the serial shit. Like, I love anything that's kind of a throwback to old serial adventures like that. So, I mean, that just seems to me like the racist cult is after us to get the ring back so they can sacrifice a virgin. Like, it's so rad.
Well, it's rad, Dad. Speaking of adventure films, Richard Lester also is a prolific director of adventure films. He did the 3 Musketeers and the 4 Musketeers in the 70s with Michael York as D'Artagnan and Oliver Reed as Porthos. And yeah. And the guy who was in the Thornbirds.
Porthos.
Yeah. Who was the guy who was in the Porthos? Who was the guy who was in the Thornbirds? Really, really handsome.
Richard Chamberlain.
Richard Chamberlain, I believe, is Aramis.
Really?
I believe. My favorite story about those. You should watch them. They're not great, but they are fun. And my favorite behind the scenes about those movies is that Oliver Reed refused to do any fight choreography practice and was just like, I'm going to fight you and you're going to try and fight me back. And was
so
drunk.
Oliver Reed.
So just drunk Oliver Reed waving a sword around at stuntmen who were like, oh, okay.
Amazing.
That's like saying stoned Cheech Marin. You don't need to say the stoned part. We know
drunk. We know he's belligerently drunk in whatever he does.
Richard Lester also finished Superman 2 and Richard Donner got fired. I did not know that until today.
Yeah, and directed Superman 3, which is my 3rd favorite Superman movie.
I think that's probably a common take. I've never seen the whole thing, guys. I've seen parts of it on TV my entire life.
You're a Quest for Peace guy, then. You're a Superman 4.
I don't think I've seen a scene of it.
Yeah,
but all I remember is Pryor taking out cigarettes and packing them, and then looking at the thing that's tar, and then he had to name something tar. I don't know. It was a weird movie. That's the one where they shave off.
Yeah,
Richard
Pryor takes a beginning computers course and then figures out how to defraud people of millions of dollars by stealing the fractions of cents.
Which went on to be the premise of Office Space.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Openly, right?
Openly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And funnily enough, the new X-Men, one of the new X-Men series stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, X-Men comics. I like Superman 3. They're like, we're not going to do Lex Luthor. We're going to have Richard Pryor in it.
It's
Christopher Reeve is going to fight evil Christopher Reeve. The villain, who's the villain again?
Oh, I can't remember.
He's in Magnificent Seven. He throws the knives in Magnificent Seven. He's old school actor.
Robert
Vaughn. Yeah, Robert Vaughn is the bad guy.
Robert Vaughn?
Robert Vaughn's the bad guy, and he lives in a penthouse apartment, and he has a ski hill at the top of his penthouse apartment. That's an evil millionaire in a Superman movie.
That's pretty good.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, Richard Lester, I don't know much about the Goons either. I just know that he was a fan of the guy that played Norm in Hard Day's Night.
Oh yeah,
he's one of the Goons, and then Peter Sellers is one of the Goons. But that kind of pre-Monty Python humor, which is really present in this. It's in Hard Day's Night, and it's definitely in Help. So some of the goofy non sequiturs, like if you remember the intermission in Help, where it's just the Beatles standing out in a field, very Monty Python, just like a 10-second weird nonsense thing of them just doing gibberish.
Yeah.
Like that kind of, I love that stuff. And it's, because I'm a geek. So same reason like Monty Python, because I'm a geek.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Richard Dick Lester, I'm going to call him that forever, by the way, now. I hope he was Sir Richard Dick Lester. I hope he got knighted. I love him, and I love his sense of humor. I love his approach to stuff. I love how postmodern this is and how just rule-breaking, rule-bending it is. He treated it like a commercial because he was from a marketing background and he was an experimentalist. So a lot of things break rules and just make you just kind of go, well, conveniently, how do we get from A to B? We just do that because I don't give a shit. I'm experimental.
But we'll have to get some disc jockeys to help us.
Disc jockeys help us do what?
Well, to bring a show to this town.
A jazz show here?
Yeah. But to do it, we'll have to go to the city.
How? Where? What do you mean?
Can you help us?
Me? I'm just a simple narrator. All right.
Hey.
Crazy.
Wow.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks.
And so to TV Center, to get a disc jockey, to bring a jazz show to their town, to show the mayor that, well, you'll see.
But I loved that this was his first feature film because it's so well done and well crafted. And yeah, I mean, like you say, he had already directed a ton of stuff, just never a feature film before. And
Right.
And yeah, I thought his direction in this is top notch.
I can see somebody looking at this and saying, wow, so I've got the Beatles and they're blowing things up and the most creative and intelligent, blah, blah, well, these artists, who we pair them with to bring them to the screen, like definitely see them, this mix. And that's why Hard Day's Night is so brilliant. But yeah, just get the fucking 1920s jazz out of there. And
but that's the joke. that is the joke.
Okay, let's talk. Okay, so
I'm
again,
ready.
Folks, you can see this on YouTube. I believe it's under the name Ring a Ding Rhythm. But if you search "It's Trad Dad," it'll come up in that search, and the whole film's on there, all 77 minutes. So pause it and go watch "It's Trad Dad." I really wanted somebody to say it's Trad Dad. Like I thought that feels American to me. Like that kind of like, I thought this would be like, have you ever seen that movie Beat Girl? That has Adam Faith in it. And Les Baxter did the soundtrack. It's this British JD kind of movie where all these beatniks are like hanging out and like they don't drink. That's for squares. And like, It's super entertaining, but they're very confrontational with the adult generation, and the generation gap is a huge part of it, right? And I thought that would kind of come up in here more, but Lester was doing more of a comedy light thing, I guess. But like, I wanted someone to say it's Trad, Dad. Like, you don't get it, man.
There's no time for that kind of character development. We have 22 songs to fit into this movie.
I did a triple take when I opened the Wikipedia page for this, and I was like, cause that's when I was like, okay, we're like 3 songs in, let's see where I am, how many there are. I was like,
You're like, oh my God.
This is a double album.
Yeah.
And I'm on the beginning of, Physical Graffiti right here, song 1. Which is
I'm very curious about your guys' take on Richard Lester's take on this, because should we just give like a brief synopsis of the setup?
Do you have 7 words to spare?
Yeah. So I mean, basically it begins with a boy and a girl, and it specifically says a boy and a girl on the screen, and then kind of just goes from there, I think, to like a town council meeting in England where the mayor is there and he says, we need to do something about these teenagers and their damned music, but their music is traditional jazz. And so instantly I thought that this is Richard Lester making a joke, like that this is a joke. This is his take on the rock and roll movie. He's making a very Goon Show joke about like, oh, these kids, they love traditional jazz. But the more I thought about it, but this is a real thing. So there was this revival in England at the time of this stuff. Very, very corny shit. Now, this is Dixieland jazz. I'm a huge jazz fan. And Dixieland jazz is the worst type of jazz.
It's the genital wart of jazz.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, if you go back to the original, like early 1920s stuff, I mean, that's amazing. But if it's a bunch of white guys playing jazz and it's Dixieland, it's going to be the worst shit you're ever going to hear. So at first I'm just like, oh, this is a big highbrow joke, you know. But then the more I looked into it, so Akerbilk, who is the corniest of the new traditionalists of these jazz, he had the biggest hit song in England in 1962 was an Akerbilk song. So he was this big star. And I'm just assuming that it's not just, you know, adults buying records. I'm assuming that the kids are buying these records too, maybe. So I don't know. I was conflicted by the end. I was like, is this satire? I don't know that it is.
No, it's not. From my little bit of reading, it was actually Richard Lester brought in more of the pot. It was going to be
straight
more
Dixieland.
Trad dads. It was going to be way more trad.
Well,
and then
God
I guess
he brought in good stuff.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, like I like Louis Armstrong. Like my first exposure to jazz was my dad playing Louis Armstrong records, and I'm like, that's the guy who does that song that everyone plays in the sad movies. Yeah. but he's like singing awesome songs about like, I'm gonna kill you, you rascal, and like in the shade of the old apple tree. Yeah. So I love all that stuff.
Oh well, that stuff. I mean, the music that Louis Armstrong made with the Hot Fives and Hot Sevens are some of the greatest music ever made, ever.
Yeah. But it's not 30 years later.
No, it is not.
White dudes in London.
As usual, a bunch of white dudes ruined the best thing ever and made this, which is, traditional jazz. Terrible.
I kind of liked Akerbilk a little bit. Like out of all the trads, he was my favorite.
He seemed the most like nudge winky of them, like self-aware, like a caricature of himself.
He was, and I liked his performance in it. Even when he wasn't just playing music, I liked the few times that you know, I think the kids talked to him, and I liked that. I just have such a hatred of him because I've had to go in going through the stacks of records in jazz sections, and there's so many of his records. He made like 100 records, and so in any type of jazz section in a record store, you're going to find Akerbilk, and I just angrily would flip past him every time. There'd be like 10 fucking Akerbilk records, to find a really good Big Spiderbeck record or something like that. So I personally hate the man.
So when you saw that scene of the mayor with like the drill press or whatever, just smashing trad jazz albums, you probably had a little bit of a stiffy, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Huh. So let's wrap your really spare narrative, because not because of you, but like, so it's a small town, and the mayor's ticked off because he went to the coffee shop to have a quiet cup of coffee. The teens came in, played the jukebox, played that crazy trad jazz, and he said, we got to do something about this. So he passes a law that says you have to have an entertainment license to have a jukebox, play the television in your business, or have a live performance. And so these two kids that we met, the boy and the girl, go off to find a DJ to help them scare up some trad jazz artists to perform a show in the town square with the aim of something. Somehow this is going to change everyone's mind. I don't know. That's the joke when I say save the orphanage. That's what it is in break-in movies. But like, I don't know what the fuck it is.
I honestly don't think they knew until the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
the theory was, if we just bring the music to the people, they'll understand.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like
It's
that
like
was
same
the
hippie
whole-
thing where it's like,
Yeah.
you just
It's
hear it.
it's a real hippie thing to be happening in 1962,
If you
where
just
we're gonna
hear it.
if we just bring the DJs and if we bring the DJs and the clarinets, the people will come and they'll see that our love of Dixieland jazz is pure.
Once they hear Surrey with the fringe on top, it's going to blow their minds, and everything will be fine.
But these are the same parents that rioted at the Magic Flute or whatever. So this is my main question is like, I get this setup and this generation gap thing and this whole you kids and your loud music, but why? Again, that's the only thing that did not jump on you with the Richard Lester thing is like, why did they pick a music type that was popular when their parents were born? Like,
Why are the music of the 50s your favorite music, Matt?
Yeah, but I have
50s. I don't like
have
the 50s,
thoughts
I like the
about
60s.
this.
You said
Because-
50s and 60s off.
well,
mic, right?
I late 50s, 60s. I mean, yeah.
See, but
Yeah.
I think I have thoughts that I think that people born in the 60s and 70s were kind of the first to look back, because my parents were born in the 50s and they didn't look back. You know, they listened to hippie stuff. They weren't like, oh, Tommy Dorsey, that's where it's at. You know, they didn't look back to their parents' generation. It was only after that people started looking back and kind of getting into that. So I don't understand what these fucking English kids were all about, like getting into this trad jazz thing. I don't get it.
Well, and it might be because like when what you were saying, like that generation was the first to really look back. I think that's probably because that was the first generation to have used records that were mass produced. And why are Action Comics 1 going for so much? Because there's not a ton of them, right? But like, you know, like it's easy. It's not quite everything available all the time forever streaming services, but it's the first time you can go back and check out stuff that happened before you were born.
True.
Yeah.
True. If you just had 78s before, which are, you know, really easy to break and don't, you know, stick around for very long. So maybe with the invention of the 7-inch and the 12-inch record, that it was a little easier to look back. So yeah, I can see that, but no, it makes me very suspicious of British youth.
I mean, me too. I mean, if that's what you got, then, you know, no wonder you bailed out for World War II. I mean,
yeah.
This is your big rebellion? Oh, yeah? Well, I just took grandma's record collection and I'm fucking my girlfriend to it.
Yeah.
Listen.
Jesus Christ.
As the Canadian in the room, I'm not quite as angry at the English all the time as you are. So I'm like, yeah, okay, they liked this music. Weird. There's very clearly to me a link between some of the girl group stuff and some of this stuff. There's not. It's not quite a. What was the seven sad sons of bitches or whatever? Like
Temperance Seven.
Temperance Seven.
The Temperance Seven.
Okay.
Holy
we're not there
mackerel.
yet, but I actually like them because they are surreal performance artists.
Yeah.
I get that. They were doing
called
weird
it
shit.
megaphone crooning. Yeah.
I'm as happy as a king, feeling good and everything. I'm just like a bird in spring, got to let it out. It's my sweetie, can't you guess? Wild about her outfits. Does she love me? Oh my yes. That's just why I shout. Everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me. Nobody but me.
Yeah, with the megaphone, they're just all like sitting around.
When
With
the guys are when they're not playing, they're eating and just doing weird business. Yeah, they were. That was like you know, doodah band, like the dog
Bonzo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like that type of thing. You know what I mean? Like that, or Firesign Theater or something. Like it was like.
Yeah.
I get them. I don't get the ones where it's just like this. White Whitington and his 7 whites. And it's just like a completely straight version of some trad song that's based on some 1840s song, like, some traditional. It's just like, what is the appeal here?
Yeah,
like,
and
at least
I think,
like when Sunvolt does it or Deer Take or something like that, it's like this ragged, soulful voice, like tapping into the murder of this old murder ballad. It's like, oh my God, he just transported me back 200 years. I feel it. But when it's just like, like, what am I getting out of this?
you didn't feel it when Chris Barber's jazz ensemble played When the Saints Go Marching In?
No, and I could not stand that lady that sang.
Oh God,
It was my least favorite
bad.
of all the performances.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. Well, I think before jumping into the performances, I think, I'm sure it's one of probably both of your favorite scenes is when the narrator in the beginning interacts with the two kids.
There's so much. Yeah, I mean, like it opens with this narrator who becomes this, don't break the fourth wall. He's breaking whatever the zero wall, whatever the narrator's wall is. And so like we get this. I did not know this was Richard Lester, by the way, when I started it. So the first shot is like a camera mounted on a truck going down a British street towards like a T intersection. And then there's like a quick cut and like it turns and a quick cut and it just kind of like rapidly cuts through this, turning through this small town. And I was like, this feels like Hard Day's Night already. And I was like, it can't be Richard Lester. And then the narrator comes in and says like, in this blah, 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 in this small town, not to be named. And the camera's panning past a town that says, welcome to, and it's just nothing. And it says population, whatever. I was like, oh my God, this is super cheeky. I like this. And everything that was like that, I totally responded to in this. The narrator talks to people. He changes the reality, very experimental.
Oh, that was my favorite scene when he does that. I think it's when he's talking with the kids and they're like, well, where do the DJs live? Where are we going to go? And they need to like go to where I think the big radio stations are, right?
Yeah.
And the narrator's like, oh, I can do that for you. And just in the background just kind of shifts. It goes white. And then suddenly they're in the radio station. And it's, it's so cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's not even that. It's duck amuck.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not even that it goes white. It's like you can see the puncture marks of the film.
That's right. They take
go
the film,
by.
Actually.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
They literally remove the film and they're still there. And all I was thinking was, and then a giant eraser is going to come and it's going to erase them and it's going to draw Daffy Duck into a big flower monster.
Yeah. No, you're right.
That's all I could think of.
But I mean, everything that the narrator was part of was cheeky and self-referential. Like,
my favorite narrator moment is when he throws the pie.
Oh,
can you do anything about this guy?
Oh no, that part, yeah, that was great. In the beginning, though, like when the mayor is explaining why he has to have this town meeting, he says, the narrator saying, the mayor decided he'd like a cup of coffee. And then he's like, I'd like a cup of coffee. Like, but he's obviously hearing the narrator. Yeah. And so they're all just kind of like God's little puppets, just doing their thing they're supposed to do. Right.
What is the mayor going to think if he finds out if it's a jazz show? I just found out it's a jazz show.
That's so good.
Yeah, I don't want to throw the name Marx Brothers around, but it definitely had that kind of clever wordplay stuff that again wasn't in Monty Python later, but
it's anarchic.
Yeah, it is anarchic, totally,
definitely.
And that's my favorite stuff. Like, there's some topical stuff. Like, there's a joke that I didn't think worked 100%. Where the mayor goes into that coffee shop and asks for a quiet cup of coffee. And the guy goes to this newfangled, crazy looking espresso machine from Italy. And he puts the cup down. There's like 6 or 7 pull handles. And he goes just making like slide whistle sounds like woo, and steam's like, and nothing really happens. And then he pulls one handle and 2 lumps of sugar come out. Another handle makes some cream come out. And then he opens a little box. And it's just got a pot of coffee in it, and he pours coffee in it. Like, okay, I get it. Italian coffee is probably strange to you.
Yeah.
Not that funny.
Yeah.
So I think from there, once they get to the radio station, the first, and this was one of my most exciting moments, the first live like radio performance that we see is by Gene Vincent, who is so fucking rad. He sings Spaceship from Mars.
Yeah.
I think. And oh God, so good. Like I love that era of Gene Vincent. He's just such a badass.
Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to our weekly show. Something old, something new. And first tonight, something new from Gene Vincent and a spaceship to Mars.
I wanna get you on a spaceship to Mars and hug you and I squeeze you as we fly through the stars. But when I think of those light years we can spend alone, zooming through the atmosphere from zone to zone, well I tell you, honey, life can be sunny 'cause you're mine, mine. Yeah, I wanna get you on a spaceship to Mars, I'll hug you and I squeeze you as we fly through the stars.
This is my first exposure to Gene Vincent, and I actually asked Matt to pull a quick bit for this, but there is a part in Spaceship to Mars.
Spaceship. I forgot.
Anyway, that song where the rhythm entirely falls apart. Like I was actually like tapping my foot along to the song. I was like, and then like there's an extra beat, and then he falls apart, and the band falls apart, and it's like a solid 5 seconds of why is this happening? Why didn't you do another take of this? And then it's fine.
Yeah,
I thought that was an editing glitch at first, and then I realized it was a performance one, and it existed in film, which is weird, right? Because film's whole thing is you have absolute control.
Yeah, I know.
Unless it's a cinema verite documentary. I mean, like, you know, like I just watched the other night on Shudder, Terror Train from 1980 with Jamie Lee Curtis for the first time, and it's a slasher movie on a train. But David Copperfield, is that his name?
Yeah,
the magician.
He plays like he's been on screen several times as himself. This is the first time he plays a character, but he's on this train, this party train. He performs a set of magic, and Joe Bob Briggs during the breaks was like, "I don't get magic in movies. Like everyone in the audience knows the stakes are non-existent because you control all the illusion. Illusions don't matter on film. Like, you know, F is for fake, Orson Welles, all that shit. Like you're hyper aware of the medium. So showing a magic act without it being a means to a joke or a setup of something is so weird.
Yeah, it was always why I never understood as a kid why people would watch David Copperfield on TV. Yeah. Like, he could fake it.
Yeah.
And like, but that's the same thing as like, why does Charlie McCarthy and Edgar Bergen have a radio show? Like,
right. But what's even weirder is like David Blaine. I mean, TV specials of illusionists continued into the 21st century.
Yeah.
People saw Gollum crawling around widescreen, you know, theaters, and they were like, I still want to watch this guy encased in glass for a week.
If David Copperfield came to Edmonton in 1986, I would have been begging my parents to take me to see live magic. But when he showed up on TV, I didn't care.
I thought you meant to get a shot at him.
Yeah.
7-year-old Devin was just like, magic! 7-year-old Devin liked Gallagher. 7-year-old Devin liked a lot of weird things.
He sounds like fun. Can we get him? Hey, may I speak to 7-year-old Devin?
Yeah.
Are you deep enough under? May I speak to 7-year-old Devin?
What's up, guys?
I have your peanut butter and jelly.
Is it crunchy or smooth?
David Copperfield's on the TV.
Anyway, that was one of the very few like, oh no, why did you do this? Why is this still? And then I was like, all right. And also, why was his mic stand like a foot shorter than it needed to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that either. I mean, maybe that was for the film, but if even listening to some of like Gene Vincent's, I don't know, more rare performances, and they all kind of fall apart. Like that's
really?
What's that whole kind of era, you know, of this like early rockabilly kind of weirdness, and it's all very, I don't know, very, very proto. Just as early and weird as it can get.
Yeah. There were some performances where I was like, is this supposed to be like attractive or like sexy? What did I write? Del Shannon, I was like, Del Shannon? awesome. And he
He's got
came out looking like a
great face
sweaty
for radio.
Frankenstein's monster.
He's got a great face for radio, is what they say in TV.
Like, he's just like in a suit that's too big for him. His hair is just like, he looks like his shoulder. It looks like his shoulders are attached to his ears. I'm like, what are you doing?
Necklace Wonder.
Not a teen heartthrob.
No.
I like Del Shannon's music, and I like his ill-advised psychedelic pop album that he did too as well. It's fun to listen to, but not something I want to look at, especially not like 3 stories tall in a theater. Can you imagine that looking at you like fucking Big Brother?
Yeah.
I was like, this is where they got the idea to do horror movies. It was this one, and they're like, oh, Frankenstein.
So, Jacob, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say the only person that I thought, I mean, I think Gene Vincent looked pretty cool, but I actually thought John Layton looked the coolest. He sang the song Lonely City, and I was very excited to see him because I know his stuff from Joe Meek compilations because his first few singles were produced by Joe Meek. And they're called Johnny Remember Me and I think Wild Wind. And, you know, Joe Meek, British producer, kind of pioneered a ton of effects and a lot of cool production techniques. Yeah. And so it was just cool to actually see John Layton and be like, oh, okay, he's pretty fucking cool. Like he's just as cool as his music was. So that was my big excited like fanboy moment. It's like, holy shit, John Layton.
So I don't remember that like from any Joe Meek comps or from the actual performance.
No, I don't think Joe Meek worked on that particular song.
No, I mean just like I don't remember his name from like Joe Meek collections.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, he only did, I think 3 or 4 songs total with him, but they're ones that I would definitely, if I do DJ sets out, I would definitely play some John Layton.
And this is like, he was a generic white guy. Like what was his, okay.
Yeah. Just someone for Joe Meek to mold.
Yeah. Throw some reverb on and
crazy,
some handmade reverb on. You know, some of the Lester humor came through here a lot. I liked in the cafe when they're dancing, kids eating a sandwich and a gardener comes in to tend to the in-house plants. Yeah. And he takes the shears out and he's trimming the plants and then he trims the lettuce off the edges of the thing and then sprays insecticide all over them. Insecticide, Jesus. Yeah. Cobain much. That was very funny. And then like when the kids, the boy and the girl looking around the I don't know if this is supposed to be the BBC. This is hub of like where all these TV shows and radio shows are happening at once. But they open a door that says music department or something like that. And it's just a rack like flush with the door jamb. And it's got instruments and stuff, but there's also musicians that play them all stacked like cordwood. And that was
a great gag.
And when they open it, like they just kind of start playing. Like, yeah, just very Richard Lester nonsense. Looney Tunes kind of thing.
Yeah. My favorite performance I would say my favorite performance in the whole, like, we haven't got DJs to come to the town yet part was Another Tear Falls by Gene McDaniels.
Oh, that was great.
That was pretty good.
He was so cool.
His voice, like that was like, I went back and rewatched that song because I'm like, he's got a great voice. And one of the more interesting ways to film one person on stage.
Spotlight. Yeah.
And a cigarette.
It was cool. It was a cool approach, man. I'm not familiar with his music. I was a little surprised. I don't know him.
He was a singer for a bit in the 60s, and then he became a songwriter a little bit later, and his most famous song is Roberta Flack's Feel Like Making Love. He wrote that song. Yeah.
Damn. Did he wow, I'm trying to find a delicate way to ask this question. I remember that bit and thinking, wow, if this guy sang something that didn't sound so white, I would be a fuck, you know what I mean? Like early Marvin Gaye, like it just sounded really white. That song was super 1962 white pop song. And I wanted to hear him sing something with a little bit of soul, a little bit of R&B to it.
Now and then I see you passing by, and for a while I don't begin to cry. But just when I think I'm all cried out, another tear falls. Another tear.
If I check out his stuff, am I going to hear that? He doesn't know. I guess my question was, if you guys know, was he trying to appeal to a white audience at that time? Was my question. I'm trying to dance around.
I think probably. Wasn't that wasn't that a Burt Bacharach song that he was singing?
Oh, really? I don't know.
Maybe it wasn't. I thought it was a Burt Bacharach song.
If it's Bacharach David, I know most of their 60s catalog, but not all.
Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, there were two black people in the movie, and they both sang songs that were pretty white. But I think Gene McDaniels put a lot of like vocal power into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, maybe he was like, you just got to play it straight. But he was also one of the 3 days of shooting in America, right? All the American acts.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
They went to America to shoot for 3 days.
Yeah. You had the Paris Sisters, Chubby Checker.
I liked Gary U.S. Bonds.
Oh, Gary U.S. Bonds was really great.
Well, the song is stupid, but the performance was good. 7 Day Weekend is stupid.
Yeah.
But like there was this like proto Phil Spector wall of sound thing where everything's like being reverbed or chorused by actual singers or an effect, but it was very thick. And it was just really like an aural onslaught of sound. Yeah. That was interesting.
Did anybody look up to actually say? So I know that Chubby Checker did about 100 different versions of the twist.
Oh God!
I had a real hard time believing that the "Lose Your Inhibitions" twist was a real song. I was just like, so this is fake, right? I was like, this is a fake song. This can't have charted. Like this can't be real. But I'm assuming it was.
What? How? I wrote them. The shake your intuition, break your opposition, lose your inhibition twist.
Yeah. Oh, but
those are some poetic words.
No, at that point he was like at the thesaurus level of like twist songs. Like,
sorry, I know there's at least 20 of them. I mean, there might be more that he did because he pretty much did it until the day he died. He just would record different versions of the twist.
And wasn't it like the twist had just come out when they were filming this, and they
61, I think.
Like it had just come out, and no one had put it on film. So Dick Lester said, "We have to fly to New York for one day to film this."
Oh, really? Was it that hot?
It was. Yeah, they flew to New York for one day on
the
Richard
twist.
Lester's
is that late? I would think that the twist would have been a lot earlier. Maybe I'm wrong.
I thought it was like 61 or 60. I'm
maybe
crazy.
Anyway, I do know that it was like, oh my God, we have to get Chubby Checker. We have to get the twist. And he flew to New York on his own money and shot it.
I just remember thinking like, so this guy just basically based his name on a spoof of Fats Domino's name, and all he does is sing about the twist.
Yeah.
Fucking sucks.
Yeah, he does suck.
And I've never liked him since then, like 30 years ago.
No, he doesn't have one good song. I know probably the twist, but no, I mean, it's not anything that we're going to be putting on or putting in a mix, you know.
Did more bad than good.
It did.
I mean, have I and will I, God willing, dance to that at weddings? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, well,
I gotta show people that
ass. That is the place where the twist belongs.
Right.
Weddings. Everyone in the crowd knows how to dance the twist at a wedding.
Yeah.
While we're peppering comments between the performances here, I also liked the little experimental bit where Craig and Helen are eating, hoping to talk to a DJ to support this thing, to be a champion for this cause, and the waiter comes up and unloads all their silverware, their flatware, their whatever, their plates, a dinner roll, and pulls the menu out and like, oh, we're not eating. We're just here to talk to somebody. And then Lester reverses the film so he just tucks everything back into it and just sucks them all back up. Great. cool little, again, this is all stuff. It's like the Slow-Mo and the Wild Bunch. You can say it's played out and blah, blah, but it's like, yeah, but this did it. Like this created that, you know what I mean? Like this is that kind of, this is the source. So,
I liked the chaotic pasta scene as well, where where I don't know what those carts are, but they're amazing.
It's like a traditional Ferris wheel of like carts full of ingredients. So you just turn this big wheel and I had no idea what was going on in that scene until they just plopped all the pasta on top of whatever they took out of all those things.
And then the guy just starts eating it.
Yeah. And I loved, Renee and I both actually really like the scene when, I think it's during Chubby Checker's performance when a girl's ass is shaking in front of the table and he's chewing and like his head's moving with her ass. And then like she like jumps down to the floor and does some low move and he kind of like, loses his shit for a second and then picks it back up when she's visible again. Unconsciously, of course, he's not being a pig. Hilarious. But yeah.
So what did you guys think of the part in the film, probably about midway through the musical performances, where I kind of laughed. It was when Craig Douglas and Helen Shapiro, they're just like, oh, well, why don't you do a number? And then they start. And he was kind of forgettable. I guess he did, was he an actor? I think he kind of did both. I guess all of them were kind of pop stars a little bit, right? I
mean, Douglas had a career he was petering out at this point. It seems like by the mid 60s, he was done. Yeah. But that song he performed, Rainbows in Your Tears or whatever, that song's like in a bad way is awesome. Like I actually was into it. And Renee was bitching the whole time. I was like, this fucking, are you kidding me? This is gold.
We have a big show coming up in just a few minutes. But meanwhile, how about listening to some local talent? Come on.
Rainbows, rainbows, rainbows in your tears.
When the one you loved has gone and you're left alone to count the cost, when your Mr. Right proved wrong and it's plain to see you've loved and lost, just remember, even gray sky clears. When the sun appears, there'll be rainbows in your tears.
Yeah, so Craig Douglas, I think he was 21, I think, when this is filming, but Helen Shapiro was 16.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about at the top of the episode, her voice is just so unique. Do not expect that voice to come out of this tiny child.
Yeah.
She recorded her earliest songs when she was 14.
Yeah,
she had that voice when she was 14.
Yeah, it's like a Peggy Lee kind of a deal or something, But I thought it was, she was great.
So Devin, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, Devin, I'm with you. I think I'm going to look up some Helen Shapiro songs.
So Devin, you're in an a cappella group. What range is her voice in? If you had to say,
it's almost, it's like low alto.
Yeah.
Like she could sing high baritone with that voice, I bet.
Yeah. Okay.
She could definitely sing a tenor part. Like give her a men's tenor part and she would be just fine. Huh. She's got a really rich lower register. And like she doesn't ever really get super high, but when she gets high, it really brightens up.
Yeah.
Her voice gets really bright. I was just like, I can't believe her voice. I drove out to my parents' backyard because COVID in Alberta is a horrifying nightmare for Thanksgiving today. And I just listened to Helen Shapiro on the way back, and I'm like, that's awesome. This is fun. I like this a lot.
Did you hear some stuff you like? Yeah?
Yeah. There was some good stuff. Where was it here?
I was curious enough to dig in. I haven't done it yet, but I wanted to get into Spotify or something like that and check it out for sure.
Me too.
Yeah, I enjoyed her, and I would recommend it because what I had looked up was pretty cool.
Okay.
I felt that after the kids get up and they sing a couple numbers. And after Helen Shapiro's second song, I mean, the music takes a nosedive because we get to the final,
the
big
actual performance.
The
This is the actual
performance.
save teenagedom performance.
Yeah. And we get, Terry Lightfoot, Kenny Ball, and then, Chris Barber's jazz group. And they are as corny as you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And this just kind of made me mad just thinking about jazz in 1962. Like 1962 for good jazz is just a crazy good time period.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, Coltrane's My Favorite Things came out that year. Like you already had record. Like amazing records that had come out the last couple of years, Ornette Coleman's Free Jazz. I think Miles Davis had Sketches of Spain just a couple of years before. So, I mean, it's an amazing time period. And to just give any type of light shining on this awful type of jazz is a crime, because there was so much good stuff going on.
Racist.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I'm going to work this out with a calculator and a piece of paper, but that's racist somehow.
Good.
Here is my hot take. I didn't like it very much, but it was tolerable because it's when the Saints go marching in. It's fine. But I did like the performance of Beale's. I did like the performance of Beale Street Blues. I thought that one was decent.
It was.
I think of the jazz stuff, I think that was my favorite one.
I get it. It hurt me though. I'm just like, I'm hope W.C. Handy isn't around to hear this.
Yeah.
I think he was though. I think he was still alive.
Oh no, that's very sad to think about.
Well, yeah, he wrote Yellow Dog Blues too. I mean, so yeah, he had a couple songs represented by Kenny Ball and Chris Barber.
Maybe he got a ticket. Like Donnie Cates got a ticket to see Venom Let There Be Carnage.
Well, maybe he got some royalties. So good for him on that.
Before we move on, I do want to mention one thing I really liked was that I mentioned it earlier, but like to be explicit about Richard Lester's visual language he kind of established here for music videos. So in one of the early performances, there's a band playing and there's a trombone player going and there's like just white. You can tell it's just a very simple effect, like white covering up the screen except where the trombone player is. And then the editor or whatever, the special effects guy, removes some of that and reveals more of the band as like the drummer comes in and then reveals more. And I was just like, I've never seen something like this before this. So this is the first instance of this kind of visual manipulation of using negative space and using the graphic like elements to block out and manipulate in syncopation with the music to make the film become a musical film. I mean, obviously musical films existed long before with animation, since the dawn of playing a wax cylinder or whatever with a movie. But I mean, like, this was like the start of the music video.
Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure.
His editing pace, which, people call frenetic and energetic and whatever. I mean, again, that is what makes music videos interesting to look at, and probably, 60 years down the road ruined our attention span or something like that. But like, these quick cuts between band members and people happening, stuff like that, and cutting on the beat, all the stuff that to now is like completely obvious to us. He kind of was inventing here in many ways, or at least solidifying the practice of.
Yeah. And I mean, when you have a movie with 22 songs in it, you have to figure out a way to make it look interesting.
Yeah.
You can't just shoot 22 bands, right? Like you have to do something. So on Spaceship to Mars, you have, what was the singer's name again?
Gene Vincent.
You have Gene Vincent in the middle of a close-up of a saxophone on one hand, and what was the other instrument on the other? I think it was the guitar.
Guitar.
Yeah.
And so they're filling the sides of the screen with just like, let's shoot that interestingly for a bit.
Yeah. As a guitar nerd, I was just like, oh, that Guild guitar. You just looked at that headstock of that Guild. You're just like, oh my God.
So that happened, which I really loved. And I never grew tired of watching him manipulate the cameras. So like you were saying, Devin, some of this was shot with the U.S. artists in the U.S.
Yeah.
I assume that was a second director and not Richard Lester.
Nope. No? They flew to the U.S. to do it.
So cool.
That's awesome.
So I was going to say like that McDaniel's performance, like, that would kind of make sense because that was more mood based and a lighting piece than it was an editing piece. But no, Lester's just a fucking genius.
Yeah.
He read the song and he made an artistic decision.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, all the American stuff doesn't have the other characters in it because they weren't there. They were just filming Chubby Checker or whatever. So you're limited by, we can't have the kids come on and dance or whatever. But then you get to do like, that sitting on the stage, smoking the cigarette, like that's classic 1970s TV of just like, yep, now I'm going to sit on a stool and sing a sad song. And it's perfect for that.
Yeah,
it is. But like that Chubby Checker thing, like that was, like you're saying, filmed in the States, but there were cut-ins of the girl's ass and the guy eating pasta watching her ass. So like, it was even masterfully intercut to have an illusion of it being all in the same space.
Yeah.
Huh. So, in the end, I also did like the goofy thing when the mayor is like trying to stop this. So once they realize that this is not a performance, like a classical music performance or whatever in the park, he actually just approved a trad jazz performance and he's upset. He gets everybody mobilized, all the National Guard or whatever you call them in England, to like stop the jazzmen from coming in to perform. And they have this big 3D like board with all the roads and stuff in town. And then these like Hot Wheels to like show like touring vans and stuff like that. And they show the army guys like setting up a giant rubber band between two trees. And then we cut to the actual model of it and you see it pulling up in its literal rubber bands. And they set one up behind the van as well. So it just starts ping ponging back and forth between these two rubber bands. It's funny and a goofy, weird, like, again, this would be Hard Day's Night. This would become the Monkees. This will become, Banana Splits. I mean,
no, it's really funny. It's a funny gag.
Yeah, it's a good gag. Sorry, that's all. I'm done. Oh, the other thing was Ilk. What's his name? Akerbilk. His music video was cool in a almost primitive way because he did Frankie and Johnny, a very standard, and they did still photography, acting out the story, which is like the devolving the medium. Yeah, like we can do better than this, guys. This is like a photo play.
But that to me seemed very English comedy.
Yes,
of the time.
It definitely was.
That makes sense to me in a Monty Python thing where they're just like, yeah, okay, and now we'll do a bunch of like photos in a slideshow or whatever, right? I didn't quite understand why there was a camel with a Union Jack on its back in that sequence of films. That didn't quite make sense, the pictures to me, but everything else made sense. I also like when they talked about they went to see the sheriff and it was a sheriff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what explains the whole motif change to?
I think that's where, I think that's how they
I was wondering why it pivoted to Arabian stuff. Okay.
Well, because he was the sheriff.
He was the sharif.
Well, they also, one of the songs that Akerbilk did was in a Persian market. So
yeah.
Like a famous song he did that he would be associated with?
No, he did it in the movie.
Was it?
Yeah, he performs it right before. It's in the middle. He performs it right before John Layton does Lonely City.
Okay, to be honest, there was a lot of them.
Yeah, no, there were. Akerbilk has like 6 performances in this. It's way too many.
Is that like when they're coming into this recording studio with the food cart?
I think so. Yeah, they do kind of run together a little bit. But yeah, like you were saying, Matt, at the end. So all this happens. The mayor moves in, mobilizes everything, and I think how it ends, at least with him, is that he sees that it's a success, and someone comes up, or the kids go up, and they're just like, "Oh, Mr. Mayor, this was all your idea. You get all the praise and the glory for this wonderful concert." And he was like, "It was my idea. You're right. This is all me." And yeah, that's kind of how it ends, really. And then Craig Douglas sings the Ring a Ding to close it out with Ellen. Yeah.
That's the movie.
Yeah, that is the movie.
So again, subverting expectations. Amicus, what's he going to choose? Vault of Horror? Is he going to choose
Too Easy?
Dr. Terry? No. We had to do It's Trad Dad.
Psyched. I wrote like a whole page of notes on It's Trad Dad.
Yeah.
I have a page of notes.
Yep, me too.
Right. So
Yeah,
one more funny thing I thought. When they're going through the TV studio, again, there's just these little vignettes that are just jokes that work for me. One of them was this like roundtable panel of intellectuals talking, and that gag killed me. Where they're basically saying like they're all very friendly on friendly terms when the camera's off. Like when the cameras go, you guys are at each other's throats about the stuff, and then sure enough, like we're live in 3, 2, and then they're complete fucking dicks to each other. That's probably not even a joke. It's probably really how. I mean, I hear a lot of stuff about U.S. politics where these people are pretty friendly, and then they go on TV and give these vicious quotes about one another. Sadly, it's pretty real, but
yeah, that is real.
That was the one bit that reminded me the most of a Monty Python skit. Like I could have heard it on a Monty Python record. What do you think of Dr. Blah Blah Blah's new book?
It's rubbish.
It's rubbish. And then response, pow.
Yeah.
That part made me laugh. I laughed out loud several times in this, and that's saying a lot for a pretty creaky comedy, even by a talented director. Subject matter was shit. Well, I'm spoiling things. Let's do final thoughts. Or we just go to final judgment, I guess.
Yeah, let's go into final
There's
judgment.
not much to really think about, is there? Jacob, why don't you tell me, is this cool or is this trash, and why?
I had a tough time coming up with a final judgment, but I have to go with whether I took into the account that I did really enjoy about half the musical performances. I didn't tap out. I watched the whole thing. I didn't look at my phone, didn't be like, oh my God, how much longer is this? So I think that Richard Lester's direction, the half of the songs that were pretty good, and a lot of the gags, I think I think I enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna go. It's cool.
It's quite a preamble to a cool.
Yeah, I had to qualify it a little bit. I won't lie.
Thank you. And Devin, same question to you.
I think it's cool. I think it could have been trash. I think on paper it was trash. I think they gave Richard Lester a script. He's like, yeah, when's the full script coming? And they're like, this is the whole script. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he made this weird thing that definitely exploited like popular music markets, but also was just like, oh yeah, let's do cool anarchic humor. Let's set the stage for all of this stuff. And that's me with a lens on it now. But I watched it and went, this guy went on to do Hard Day's Night. It is very clear that this guy went on to do Hard Day's Night. And I have a new music crush that I want to listen to more. And I've had a couple of the songs in my head all day. And
I'm flattered.
I think it's cool.
Her. Oh, Helen Shapiro.
Oh, Ellen Shapiro. Gotcha.
Not crush like I have a crush on the 14-year-old girl. Like I would just
child. Yeah.
I just would. I want to listen to her.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Don't come down to the States, by the way. We have pretty serious laws here, and small town sheriffs will take you out in the woods.
We have more serious laws than you do.
Yeah.
Well, so are you going to be my sponsor, like my advocate, if I want to naturalize or whatever?
I mean, I'll do my best for you, man.
Wow. That's a tepid ass response.
No, for sure. If any of the Americans that I like wants to move to Canada, yeah.
Am I in that number when the Saints go marching in?
Yes.
Splendid.
Okay,
so I'm putting you down the form.
Okay. Cool. Honey, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you think, Matt?
I genuinely don't know how to answer this. I'm of two distinct minds. Is it cool or is it trash is a personal thing that each person has to reckon with. And, for me, it is when people say, please help me, I don't know how to interpret this. I say, for me, it is my friend Jacob and I's friend Joe, who's one of the founding members of the show. He's my oldest friends. Would you recommend Joe watch it? It's kind of my default thing. Joe would want to see Richard Lester's first film. Joe would want to at least boo and hiss at the once you reach maximum capacity of trad jazz. All right, it's cool, but I that's an asterisk cool, like the most tortured cool I've ever given. Richard Lester's work is worth checking out. The pop artists are worth checking out. I got really angry with trad jazz about halfway through this film. I couldn't hear another fucking clarinet. To me, like, I don't get it. Like I got hung up on this the whole time. Like, why is this popular? Like we talked about at the beginning, but it's just like, you know, Renee was asking the same thing. Like, I don't understand. So these kids like it? And I was like, yes, apparently. I don't know why. It's like remember when klezmer got really big like 10 years ago for like 2 years for no fucking reason? Like, klezmer has a rich musical tradition and cultural value, but why do people just pick random things and say, we're really into this right now? Like, if you're not into it, you're stupid. You're square.
Yeah, but what about here? What about in America when I think it was 67 when, you know, psych and hippie stuff is really starting to hit, and we had the new vaudeville band singing Winchester Cathedral.
Yeah.
And that was a huge fucking hit.
It's counter programming.
I guess the disconnect for me is like something similar that does work is Brits' fixation on music hall. So like you have like Herman's Hermits who are doing novelty songs like Henry VIII and, you know, these songs where it's like, our parents knew this, we're doing it kind of tongue in cheek, but it's a hit. Then you have that morphing into Ray Davies getting his hands on it and being like, I'm obsessed with everything old and I'm completely obsessed with the future and where we're going, but I don't want things to change. And so he's doing these critiques on British society that are completely modern and in older vernacular. Like, that to me is rich. Paul McCartney loved music hall. It's all through everything he did musically in the 60s. That to me is a rich mining of a traditional music. And this to me is like, there's nothing to trad jazz. It is what it is. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't grow. It doesn't, like, it's just dead. It's like trad jazz equals trad jazz. Like, there's no math. That's what the chalkboard says. So I hate that they got into it. I hate that what they got into so passionately was so square. Thank God they found R&B and took over R&B for a couple of years and then sent it back to us and made music explode for 10 years. Because, if trad jazz was the British invasion, like they took it and adopted it and mastered it and then brought it back to us and we were all into trad jazz. It's like that Mr. Show thing with ventriloquist dummies. Like, everyone's into ventriloquist dummies. Like, fucking kill me.
Yeah,
if I had to listen to Let the Saints Go Marching In every day by a different artist on the radio, I would kill myself.
Well, maybe you just answered your own question. Like the trad jazz movement and its popularity from 1960 to about 1962, that, you know, the early R&B and the British invasion stuff was a reaction to that. Was just to like, this sucks. We're going to do something good now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can see like connective tissue between those things, right? Trad jazz, it's still like New Orleans. It's still, you could still like
essentially American
pivot. You could pivot away from it if you don't want your, I couldn't remember his name. It would have been a great joke, but I couldn't remember his name. Acker Bilk. If once you have delivered all your 10 Acker Bilk records to the used record store, maybe you pick up some Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
Fuck, please do, please.
Well, they do. They figure it out.
Yeah. Okay.
And change music for at least a decade.
Okay. Yeah. I still feel not safe.
Yeah.
From Dredge, yes. So I'm a little traumatized. I love Dick Lester. I love what he did here. I love what this language he created. And I hate the fucking music that was at the core of the project. So that is my thing. But it is cool. So nobody has to deliver an antidote, by the way. But I thought of some because I was on the fence this entire time. So maybe somebody's listening to us and doesn't know that we do this, but when you call something trash, you have to give an antidote to it. Hopefully something that's free also. You guys don't have to, but in the spirit of Amicus Hammer, I thought, well, for Halloween, let's do The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, the Hammer and Shaw Brothers co-production, which is essentially where Dracula inserts himself into a Chinese guy and flees Transylvania after one of his many defeats at the hands of Van Helsing and goes to the east. And there's these seven, it's very Wu-Tang Clan, like the seven. They have different masks, golden masks on, and lots of kung fu, 5 boobs, and vampire slaying in early 70s style. So you can watch that for free right now on YouTube. Not officially, but I found it. So that's my recommendation, even though I don't have to give an antidote.
You can watch it on Blu-ray at my house.
I love that movie so much.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I think if you haven't seen it and you want to do a Richard Lester thing, and I don't know if it's available for free, but I really think watching that the Three Musketeers, I really like. It's not perfect, but it's like 70s swashbuckler Three Musketeers in a really cool take on, you're doing this now.
Yeah. I dig it.
Who else is in it?
Can I mention one more thing? If someone's like into this format that Richard Lester did here, but you don't necessarily want to hear, I don't know, 100-year-old songs at the time, check out, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all time of these is the Tammy Show, which stood for, it's an acronym. It stands for the Teenage Awards Music International. And that has, Chuck Berry, the Beach Boys, Rolling Stones, Marvin Gaye. It's like the greatest one of these ever, but there's no dumb plot, mucking up the works. It's just the greatest artists at the time, the most popular and greatest artists of the time performing in like a 60-minute series. It's fucking amazing. I love the Tammy Show.
So great.
Here's the cast. Oliver Reed as Athos, Richard Chamberlain as Aramis, Michael York as D'Artagnan, Frank Finlay as Porthos, Christopher Lee as Rochefort, and Raquel Welch.
Okay.
I like those last two a lot.
Yeah.
And Spike, I think Spike Milligan's also in it.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Spike Milligan is also in it.
Bringing it around to the Goon Show.
Yeah. Goon Show.
Okay. It's like, I know that name. I just read that like yesterday.
I just watched because all the Muppet Show episodes are on Disney Plus now. I just watched the Spike Milligan Muppet Show episode. Terrible.
Really?
It was not good.
So Richard Lester had a couple swings and misses, and he's had some periods in his career that were pretty quiet. I think that Richard Donner thing was a big deal, kind of brought him back. And then I think he didn't work a lot for a while. I don't have his CV handy, but he's still alive, right?
He is still alive. It's funny. I went to Wikipedia because that's the easiest thing to find the information on like filmographies. And it actually says Richard Lester, commonly referred to as Dick Lester, is an American former film director based in the United Kingdom. He is billed as a former film director.
Oh, wow.
And they go to the point of pointing out you don't work anymore.
Yeah.
Well, he's 93 or something.
Hey, so what?
You're right.
Bela was going till he dropped dead. I mean,
yeah.
He also did Robin and Marion. I forgot about that.
With Sean Connery.
The Sean Connery, Audrey Hepburn, Robert. Isn't that it?
Wow.
It's middle-aged Robin Hood as played by Sean Connery, and middle-aged Maid Marian is played by Audrey Hepburn.
Wow.
So his last credit was for Get Back, a Paul McCartney concert film in 91.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for joining me on this musical adventure.
I'm so glad you had me watch this. I am. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
You're not mad, Devin?
No. Listen, when you said, Devin, do you want to watch It's Trad, Dad? My brain went, oh, it's happening. It was like a Devin signal was like launched in the sky.
I was kind of disappointed because I thought it was going to be one of those like super teensploitation things where it's just about kids angrily, fighting with their parents and dancing like a Footloose for 1961. I didn't think.
Nope.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't think it would be a cavalcade of artists, but
I am just imagining what if the plot of Footloose was Kevin Bacon driving into town and asking DJs to come to his small town. What if that was the plot of Footloose?
Okay. On our way out here, Devin, tell the people where they can find you online, musically or otherwise.
I am in an a cappella group. Theoretically, we have not performed or practiced together since the start of the pandemic because airborne disease. But we are a group. Theoretically, still, we are called Apocalypse Cow. It's Cow with a K. You can find us online, and we have music of it.
Thank you, and Jacob.
Well, you and I just finished a long run of a podcast called Werewolf by Night.
That's true.
The podcast. True. And so there's many hours of you and I talking about an old Bronze Age Marvel horror comic. So you can definitely find me there.
Uh-huh. Are we not talking about your album?
Oh yeah, I've made a few albums. One of them's online. It's called So Long Everybody. Under my name Jacob Balcom. It's on Bandcamp, and it's a weird little folk record I made out at a farm a few years back.
Yeah, I recommend people check that out. And Apocalypse Cow. All right, guys, thank you for joining me on this little journey here for That's Cool, That's Trash. I'm Matt Howell.
I'm Jacob Balcom.
And I'm Devin Bruce.
You folks out there, stay trashy.
That's trash.
It's garbage, folks.
And so the boy, the girl, and the mayor lived happily ever after. At least until after the finale.
Bring it in. Bring